I'm Divya, and I've studied psychology. I've been teaching psychology and working as a counselor, a teacher, working as a counselor and a teacher in schools, colleges in Delhi, and now I'm in Pondicherry since the past 3 years, and I work with Sri Aurobindo Society. So very quickly, because we're already running late and I don't want to impose a lot of information, I will be more conversational, story-like. Whatever I say will be more of a story of how psychology has evolved over time and why integral perspective or integral psychology or integral yoga is the psychology of the future. We're moving towards that. We've already started and we're moving towards that. So Sri Aurobindo says yoga is nothing but practical psychology. We start with a brief history of psychology. What is psychology? What does the subject study? Psychology came as an offshoot of philosophy. Like many other disciplines that come from philosophy, psychology is an offshoot of philosophy. And it started as the study of the soul, like we all know. Psyche means soul, logos means discourse or the subject of study. So psychology started as the study of the soul. But eventually when people found out that studying the soul within a human body was difficult, we don't know where to locate it physically, how to go inside, how to study it scientifically. So the subject matter was eventually shifted to the study of mind and consciousness. During the times of Titchener and Webner, when structuralism and functionalism was important, they tried to study the structure of consciousness, the elements of consciousness through introspection. Introspection is study of the self in whatever way possible, by observing what goes on in your mind, in your behavior, in your outer performances. But it did not work very well. And consciousness also cannot be located in the body physically, scientifically. The subject of psychology eventually shifted to, during the times of behaviorism, the study of behavior, the outward observable behavior. John Watson, the famous behaviorist psychologist, is a pioneer in that. And this did a lot of disservice to psychology in a way. It added a lot, but it also, in the garb of making psychology scientific, measurable, observable, it took away a lot of what is validly the subject matter of psychology, what should be studied under psychology. Anything and everything that happened inside us, which we could not observe, which we could not measure, which we could not record, was excluded as the subject matter of psychology. And so, friendship, meaning, depth, pain, suffering, all of it, which cannot be properly quantified in some way, was left out of the field of psychology at that time. Only the observable behavior became the subject matter of psychology. In more recent years, humanistic psychology, social constructivism, and the qualitative paradigm have tried to re-include these things, have tried to look at what goes on inside. It has become a more collaborative field. Psychology gives respect to self-reflexivity. It gives respect to collaborative work and research, co-creation of reality. Like social constructivism says, there is nothing as a real reality. It is all a construction between people, within our mind, and things like that. A lot of respect it gives to the individual and the social strata and the variety that happens in human beings. But again, what it studies is basically a very surface level thing. The students of psychology basically know that Freud says that the conscious mind is only the tip of the iceberg, only the 1/10 of our own personality. Sri Aurobindo says that is like the froth on the surface of the sea, what we know of ourselves. There is an immensity inside us that we are unaware of, that we do not know. And when psychology went through all these, the search of its own identity, what should be the valid subject matter of psychology, what the difficulties that came up with all these fields that we just discussed is the superficiality of the original data that we collect from other people by quantification, by measurement. They know very minimal about themselves. We don't know how much they know, how deep they have gone, what all they are aware of. So basically, we are still stuck with the persona and we have not gone to the person who is behind the persona. The deeper layers of existence and personality are still not tapped. To give you an example, when astronomy wants to study stars and moon and the phenomena in the sky, the astronomers do not ask people on the street to look at the stars, gaze at the stars and to report what they see. They make instruments, they make telescopes that can really look at the stars and find out. And that is how, by building the instruments, by refining the instruments, astronomy has proceeded. And it is similarly in all other sciences. But in psychology, this refining of instrument has not happened as much as it should have. And that is what integral psychology or Sri Aurobindo focuses on, that psychology essentially is a subjective field. It is about something that happens inside us, not outside of us. So what we know best is what happens to us. So he advocates basically studying oneself before studying the other. It is in a sense a first person research instead of a third person or second person qualitative research. So just a small story to just reiterate what we have said till now. There is somebody called as Mullah Nasruddin. His stories are famous in India, and he is like a village idiot. So one day he's sitting on the street in broad daylight. The story is not there, I'm saying the same story, so you don't need to read. So he's looking for something frantically outside on the street, and the passers-by ask him, "What are you doing? What are you looking for?" And he says, "I'm looking for my keys, I have lost my keys." So people ask him, "Where did you lose them?" He said, "Inside the house." And they said, "Then why are you looking outside?" He says, "Because there is light outside, inside there is dark." So if we have to study what we have lost inside, the treasure that is inside, we have to look for it inside, even though it's difficult, even though we do not have proper methodology till now, we can develop it. India has been developing it rigorously and working on it. Just because studying the outside is simple, convenient and possible right now, psychology cannot limit itself to studying only that. If science had limited itself to studying things like that, we would not have reached anywhere. No mobile phones, no electricity, no astronomy, nothing. So realizing that, finding the keys. Okay, so what does integral psychology do? The Western approaches in psychology have focused on the physical, phenomenal side of phenomenological side of reality. I am a personality, I need a healthy ego. And ego is not a negative thing, it's a positive thing, it's my individuality. The Eastern approaches say, I am a spiritual being, my ego is there only for one brief life, and my true individuality is my soul. The integral approach acknowledges both and goes beyond. It acknowledges the world, it acknowledges the self with a capital S, and it wants to go to the self to understand the world better, to infuse that secret element that we call the divinity or the deeper layers into the very physical material existence, in Sri Aurobindo's terms, to make life a life divine. Alright, so quoting Sri Aurobindo, he basically very quickly, he talks about psychology and he says that it is true that psychology has made an advance and has begun to improve its method. The new psychology seeks indeed to penetrate behind the superficial appearances, but it is encumbered by initial errors which prevent profounder knowledge. And what are those errors? The materialistic error, focus on the body. When we research on meditation, what do we study? We don't study what meditation tells us, what the knowledge that it gives us. We see the blood pressure becomes better, the EEG comes out better, the sleep is better, the focus on the material, the physical, the body. The second is the skeptical error, which prevents any bold and clear-eyed investigation of the hidden profundities of subjective existence. If we discuss today, many of us would have some experience of intuition, of telepathy, of knowing things beforehand, a premonition, dreams that are predictive. But how many of us talk about it openly in a research area, in a scientific psychological conference? It's very few, because we are very skeptical in psychology. We want to be scientific, because of which we don't talk about the subjective in a very open, shared spaces. The third is the error of conservative distrust and recoil. Anything which is out of this phase of what we consider normal, any experience like that, people are scared to share, and psychologists are also not very open to accepting. There are many people in psychology and psychiatry who in their personal life go to temples, churches, mosques, different places, pray to God before their sessions and things, before their surgeries, but in scientific endeavor they will not talk about it because there is distrust of subjectivity. Only the objective is the one which is worshipped in some way, valued and considered valid. The last and the most important is the error of objectivity. In its endeavor to be objective, psychology wants to study the other, where psychology is the field which is a very subjective field, and unless we know ourselves, we are unable to know the other as well. The one who has gone through pain recognizes the pain in the other. The one who has not gone through pain will not be able to understand. If somebody comes to me for therapy and I have no experience of suffering, it is difficult to understand, to make sense of, to hold that experience. Similarly, people who have gone through deeper layers of existence and the self, if they meet somebody who has not had any experience of that kind, they will not be able to understand. In India, mostly when people are upset or have a problem, it is still they are still not that open to go to a psychologist, but they will go to somebody who they think has a higher consciousness than them. They will go to a guru, they will go to a master, they will go to somebody who according to them is wiser, instead of still going to a psychologist. There is a lot more openness than before, but still this whole thing about somebody who knows better than me is still there, and it works also. So the last error I will read in his words, the error of objectivity which leads the psychologist to study others from outside instead of seeing his true field of knowledge and laboratory of experiment in himself. Psychology is necessarily a subjective science, and one must proceed in it from the knowledge of oneself to the knowledge of others. Integral yoga or integral psychology is a very broad field. The word integral itself comes from the Sanskrit word purna. In a reductive sense, it means complete. In a very narrow sense, it means complete or comprehensive or all-inclusive. In its widest sense, it means infinite. It is all-inclusive, nothing is left out of it. So when we talk about integral yoga psychology of Sri Aurobindo, he says that the first major difference, he says that psychology is the science of consciousness. Consciousness and its states and operations in nature. Nature means body, life and mind, the Prakriti. And if that can be glimpsed or experienced, its states and operations beyond what we know as nature. So Western psychology focuses on nature, which is Prakriti, body, life and mind, physical, vital, mental. Sri Aurobindo goes beyond that, and he says there are things beyond nature which make us up fully. And if psychology can, it should endeavor to access those states and understand those states better. It is a psychology rooted in the consciousness-based Indian worldview, yoga, a life-affirming spirituality. The spiritual traditions before Sri Aurobindo, like Shankara, Buddhism and others, they had a certain focus. Shankara focused on nirvana or liberation, that we have to go out of life and seek God or seek the self. Buddhism focused on alleviating suffering. Sri Aurobindo went beyond and included all of it. He said life is important, self is important. Through that self we have to inform life, understand life, make sense of life. And so he says yoga is a means by which we arrive at a union with the truth of things. It is the self knowing which all is known. Why was psychology the study of the soul? Because knowing the soul, we know everything. And integral, when we study psychology in an integral way, or when we study anything for that matter, Integral, like I said, means all-inclusive. In psychology, questions like who am I? What is the purpose of life? Why is there suffering? What is right action? What is my purpose here? All of it is a part of existence, and you cannot answer any one of it without necessarily connecting it to the other. And what integral psychology gives is that broad framework which includes answers to all of these questions in a meaningful and connected way. A change of consciousness is the whole meaning of the process of yoga. Briefly, this is one of the model of personality that Sri Aurobindo has said. This is still not complete. This is a concentric model, then there is a vertical model also. What are we made up of? On the extreme right, you see ego, the outer mind, outer vital, and outer physical. This is mainly what Western psychologies and theories focus on improving and working on. Then there is inner mind, inner vital, inner physical, and subconscious. Psychoanalysis, humanistic Gestalt approaches focus little bit here, and a lot of it is still left untapped, which Indian approaches focus on. And then towards the extreme left, mental self, vital self, physical self, or mental Purusha, vital Purusha, physical Purusha, and then the true being or the psychic being. So the psychology that we study right now completely misses out on everything on the extreme left, focuses on the extreme right, and little bit glimpses of the middle layer come out in it. When we study integral psychology or Indian psychologies in a broader sense, this is the field that we need to tap, because this is the source of our behavior, of our deeper leanings in life. Where does our purpose come from? And then there is Atman, which is unmanifest, which is above, which is connected to the psychic being. And above mind also there are vertical layers which Sri Aurobindo talks about, which I am not going into right now. So through that, the model that we just saw, the very outer layer of behavior is the objective knowledge that we have been studying through behaviorism. The surface nature gives us the subjective knowledge, phenomenological knowledge in humanistic and existential approaches. Then we go to the inner nature, a little bit of these phenomenological approaches, and then the true being, which is completely untapped. Humanistic existential approach talks about peak experiences and things like that. So glimpses of inner knowledge and very, very little, if ever, true being comes out in those things. And this is the core of our being according to Sri Aurobindo. Can we go back? Just a minute. Okay, this is very small, but I will just read it out, maybe speak it. The I or the ego is there for one life. It is the individuality. It serves an executive function. The whole focus in integral yoga is to shift that center of identification from the outermost I to the inmost true self. You have to step back inside and go as deep as possible to identify with that true being. That is the whole focus of integral yoga. And once you get to that, that true being can start having an influence on the outer nature, outer personality. That is the last slide that we said. It all depends upon where the consciousness places itself and concentrates itself, that decides the quality of your life. We end with the quote by Sri Aurobindo. He says, when we have passed beyond knowings, then we shall have knowledge. Reason was the helper, reason is the bar. When we have passed beyond willings, then we shall have power. Effort was the helper, effort is the bar. When we have passed beyond enjoyings, then we shall have bliss. Desire was the helper, desire is the bar. The most important for psychology, when we have passed beyond individualizing, then we shall be real persons. Ego was the helper, ego is the bar. So he says that unless we have a healthy individuality, unless we have developed an assertive enough, strong enough ego, there is nothing that we can let go. So we have to become complete people in terms of physical phenomenological self. And then we can go beyond it also. When we have passed beyond humanity, then we shall be the man. The animal was the helper, the animal is the bar. And he says the whole of life is a manifestation of this journey and this movement from the outer to inner. Either we participate in it consciously because we have a thinking mind, a reflecting mind, or nature naturally forces us towards that. That is the whole purpose of pain and disappointment, that we turn inwards. He says in his epic poem, Savitri, pain is the hammer of gods. So it beats us, it pushes us to something deeper, something more fulfilling, something more inclusive, to make us what we really are. Thank you.
Thank you, Divya, for presenting a beautiful ideas of Sri Aurobindo and the mother. For all of your information, the complete writings of Sri Aurobindo and the mother, you can access to Sri Aurobindo Ashram's website. All his 36 volumes, the writings of the mother into 17 volumes are available. So there are a lot of things the mother and Sri Aurobindo has emphasized, especially addressing the gaps between the Eastern and Western, with the barriers we have created. So many such initiatives can be started and the dialogue can continue. So may I request all the delegates, those who have come from the Edith Cowan University and Pondicherry University and Pandit Dindal Energy University, to kindly introduce and make it an interactive session. If you have any ideas, any queries, any questions, we can, some 10-15 minutes, we can have an interactive session. We want to listen from you also. So we can start from you, you can introduce yourself and
my name's Georgia. I come from ECU, Edith Cowan University, as the rest of us have. I'm from Perth, Western Australia, and I'm majoring in psychology.
Hello. My name's Helena, also studying at ECU, major in psychology, and also live in Perth. Is it all good? Hello everyone, I'm Alana. I just want to apologise also for us being very late. I'm so sorry. We are on, I don't know, a weird schedule today. I'm from Sydney. Studying Bachelor of Psychology, and I'm really interested to learn about the Indian psychology and, as you said, the integration of both. So thank you so much for that presentation. Will you be able to send the slide, this presentation?
Yes, it's blatantly.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to, is there any information you can provide on this ashram, like just a bit more, how long it's been around, and yeah.
sorry, can you repeat?
Oh, sorry. Just this ashram, how long has it been around? Are you able to provide a bit more information about this ashram?
Yes.
We
will go to, after this
later.
Go to the ashram, yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hello everyone, my name is Tina. Wasn't needed. My name is Tina, studying psychology second year, and from ECU, really excited to be here and learn more about the integrated part with yoga combined, because from where we come from, Perth especially, it's mainly that yoga is more like the physical aspect, like you move your body, it stretches, you get trimmed, but not so much the mind aspect of it. So I really like to learn more about that. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Mihika. I'm from Delhi, but I'm studying in PDEU, Gandhinagar, Gujarat. I'm majoring in psychology, and just happy to be here. How far do you go? Is this fun? I'm Gaia, I'm from Perth. Also, we're all doing psychology, so skip that. Studying at ECU. I don't really have much to say. Happy to be here, happy to hear more.
Emily, ECU, Perth.
We'll shorten it up.
Oh, there we go. Emily from Perth, ECU, and also very happy to be here. My question is, you said if we're not a willing participant,
in consciousness, then nature has a way of forcing us to be. Can you give me an example of nature forcing us?
I don't know whether I would call it a force, but if you see generally, Darwin talked about evolution, right, biologically. Sri Aurobindo talks about evolution of consciousness. And if you see in nature, from rocks to plants, to the first unicellular organism, to animals, and then to man, there has been an evolution, biologically and also in consciousness. We are thinking, feeling, willing, deciding human beings, which has not happened before human beings. And according to Sri Aurobindo, everything around us and in us has this consciousness. And nature subconsciously is moving towards further evolution, or nature with a capital N, Prakriti. And all of us, whatever our endeavors in life, are moving towards becoming more than what we are. We love progress. We don't like stagnation. You see a cemented wall and you see a small plant come out of it. You don't know from where. So there is a tendency towards growth, towards evolution. And it is natural. And if right now, because we are thinking, feeling, we can will, we can choose, we can decide. So if I am doing yoga consciously, I want to go deeper, I want to understand better about myself. But even if I am not consciously, willingly doing it, life gives us circumstances according to whatever, and we have to move and we have to learn to adapt. We have to move, we have to grow. That is the whole point of existence. Otherwise, we can take it as a coincidence that we're all here, and then what is the purpose? Then whatever we do is okay. But if there is a purpose in existence, if a conscious being has created this universe, then there has to be that consciousness in each particle and each one of us. And then we are moving towards something more harmonious, more whole. And so if not consciously, subconsciously there is a push in nature towards that. And because you asked, so I would say, Sri Aurobindo talks about the supramental, and also because this month is important, 29 February is known as the Golden Day or the Supramental Day, where the supramental force or plane in a certain, not plane, but supramental force, presence in some sense descended into the earth atmosphere, which according to Sri Aurobindo is the next level of evolution. After mind, there are higher mind, illumined mind, intuition, overmind, supermind, the vertical thing. So 29 February is celebrated as the Supramental Day, evolution.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Good afternoon. My name is Mithila. I'm a PhD student from Pondicherry University. Thank you. I'm Abhirani Sharma, PhD scholar from Pondicherry University. Thank you so much for the session. It was clear and it was short and clear actually. And most of them were like looking for the cultural differences in psychology, and we want to learn more about it. With their interaction with them from yesterday, I understand they are more into this understanding the difference between Eastern and Western. I hope this session helped them to learn more. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hi, my name is May. Sorry, I jumped the queue. Yes, I'm from Perth as well. I'm studying psychology and counselling. This trip is very different to what I expected. I understand India is a very spiritual country, and it is. Instead of learning more about spirituality, I find myself learning more about making genuine human connection, which is my passion. And it is very profound. So I'm very grateful to be here, and I'm going to take my learning, my understanding with me to become a better psychologist in the future. Thank you, everyone.
We have also the scholars with Dr. Bhupana Vasudevanji, one of the eminent psychologists and one of the known figures in Puducherry, and we have Narayan Murthy and Dr. Kalaiji, Guru Murthy. Madam, you can also join with us. Please come with us. And also Puspa Devi, you can also share your experience. Madam, you can speak something.
Sir has already introduced me. I am Dr. Bona Vasudevan. I am a psychologist, therapist and special educator. I am also a mentor of Pondicherry Dyslexia Association. And I run a school by name Bridges Learning Vidyalaya. And we have repudiated more than 6,000 students. Over 27 years I am in this field, actually, the field of special education. And we have children with autism and dyslexia and other neurodiverse kids, and also we are taking care of orphan, semi-orphan children and all with us. Yeah, it's a very nice session. In fact, Dr. Kishor Kumar Tripathy has sent me a mail and also a message. I had some work, that was also not well. So in spite of it, I thought since he has already sent me, last time also I just missed it, I just came late and everything was over. So I thought maybe this time, even if I'm late, I thought fine, I will just attend. See, what is very important is, like as Divya was saying, see, nowadays for the kids and also for the elders, what is missing is incidental learning. That's what I feel. I made a lot of research on this area. We don't learn anything from nature or what our sense organs says, and how do we perceive, and how do we just give out, how do we just bring out what is best of us. And instead what we do, we keep searching in the Google and we just do copy and paste and all that. So the acquired learning is more. The incidental, that is what is missing also from the children, from the students, from the 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old. They don't learn anything by themselves. Rather, parents also, they don't allow the kids to learn by themselves. They immediately stop the child and they say, no, don't go there, you'll fall. Don't go there, you'll fall. No, don't buy that. They don't give any kind of exposure to the children. See, that's what is missing nowadays, and we don't have any book reading habits also. As she was saying, Sri Aurobindo, mother and all, has written so many books, and all those habits have gone now from us. See, that's what is missing now. That's why the psychology plays a very important role. When I joined my college, probably in 87 or so, and psychology was a very rare topic and a very rare subject. Even in my family also, people were very conservative family, and people were just saying, in fact, I did my MTA and then I came to psychology. Masters in tourism, and then because I love to meet people and all that, so I just went into that line and then I got into psychology. So that time, I got married that time. So, people, they were all saying, why do you want to do psychology? What is that? In fact, when I just get into the subject, I never understood what they are talking about, because there's so many subjects involved in that, But only when you get to know with people, psychology is basically understand people from their own shoes. That's what is very important. Just go with them, just be with them, just understand with them. If you understand each and every individual's nature and how do they behave, what do they do, what is their prime focus, what is their interest, what is their like and all that, then if we keep ours as secondary, give them the primary way, then naturally the world, the society of where we live and all will become very calm. See, that's what is missing nowadays. See, what is the incidental learning. We have to learn by ourselves, and children have to learn by themselves. We should let the society to learn everything by themselves, along with the nature. And we should take the nature's gift and learn everything. See, that's what even Sri Aurobindo has said. And just in a concise, I've just put, and this incidental learning, if you just push that, for children with dyslexia, autism and all, it works out very well. So yeah, so maybe you can also throw this kind of light to your students or wherever you are. So that's what is missing now. We have to let the children to do things by themselves. Then things automatically come to normal self. Okay. Thanks for the opportunity, sir. Thank you so much.
We have Dr. Kalaiji. It's a well-known personality in Pondicherry and doing many practical things, especially for the children's and enriching the communities. So may I request Dr. Kalaiji to kindly speak something.
First of all, congratulations. It was a very nice presentation. Just only one thing I would like to emphasize here, that is, we should live together with the nature. That is the best teacher. And whatever we learn from nature always gives us more wisdom than the knowledge. And wisdom is more important than the knowledge. If we have more wisdom, everything will come in the line. That's what I want to say. That's all.
Oh, that's really interesting. Gurumurti ji, you want to say something? You can come here also. You can come here, please. Divanshu.
Basically, an entrepreneur presently holding a responsible position in a cancer hospital project. I was fascinated by what Divya said, and her question also was on the same lines. How nature conspires to make your consciousness aligned to what is your purpose. This I would put it like this, Sir said now, connect to nature. It's not easy in this gadget world now. It's definitely not easy. I would put it from my practical experience. Normally that's how it's not working. Even last time Kishor made me sit and speak in front of more learned scholars and more experienced people. He always puts me in such discomfort zone, but it gets the best out of me. Because I come from a background of experiencing life, like how Dr. Bona said. You learn from those incidents that happen from your life. I think that's the best. I think that's the best. See, this is how nature conspires.
It's okay, we can hear you anyways.
Yeah.
You're good.
I think practically when we look at every experience of our life very consciously, very difficult. Once we aspire to look at every event in our life consciously, why is this happening? What is this happening? Maybe they have defined it as a model and as a subject, and there are a lot of PhD students sitting here, scholars sitting here. I don't think I'm qualified like it, but I can very well vouch from my experiences of life, having seen life to the aspect of what suffering you go through. That's exactly you can translate into the world as an experience, and you can share it as lifting the consciousness of the other person. No way a 12-year-old boy who lost his father with a very, very, very poor middle-aged background turned into a 65 crore entrepreneur, and from then seeing again the abyss of life. Because life has been taking you to a different purpose, to be in touch with cancer patients. The journey is not yet taking full shape. Steve Jobs is the one who tells it so beautifully. Every event of your life is a dot, and you don't know what are those dots. Only at a later stage of life, when you reconnect the dots, you'll be able to see what it is. So that's the way I think. But going inside, deep inside you, deep inside you, deep inside you, I think still it's a journey of understanding. I'm not the body, but body pulls you towards day-to-day pulls and pressures. And then you know I'm not the mind, but mind pulls it again to your extroverted responsibilities. And what is this I am the self is what's making me, though I am a native of this place, I think after Kishor's invitation to me for the last 6 months or so, I've been to the ashram regularly. See, that's how I would put it, that the question that she asked with you, I think that's how, that consciousness there inside you, and nature, once that, even that seeking is through nature only. It's that divine force which makes you do it. And we are all so blessed, I think, we're sitting here from all parts of the world. And one thing with the Western country is, you people are so blessed in her aspect of teaching what she tells. You learn it on an incidental way. You learn it then and there. We have borrowed all this Western culture into this land, and we are not going the right way. But we have all the roots very strong. Maybe those roots are protecting us. And that's it from me. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Gurumurthy ji, for the East and West has given, particularly shared cultural heritage. We will come up to this land. We have an eminent scholar with us, Professor Chela Perumal ji from Pondicherry University, leading many departments, history, anthropology, and also the South Asian Studies department. Sir, you want to say something?
I do not know.
I'll just introduce, actually, this program is part of the International Cultural Relations.
Yeah, I read that.
So we discussed a little bit about the integral psychology in the light of Sri Aurobindo and the mother. And now this interactive session is going on.
Good afternoon to you all. First of all, I'm really sorry for coming late. It is scheduled at 3 o'clock, but because of some circumstances I couldn't come in time. In fact, I thought that by the time the program must have been over. Even then, I just wanted to try. Even if there is the end of the program, let me go and come. But I'm happy that you are still here, and just now I heard Gurumurthy's views. And before I share a couple of things, I should appreciate Dr. Tripathy. He is so active that he is really bringing all the people together, and really the mission of the ashram, activities very actively is doing. Almost every week there is some activity or otherwise. Every time different groups, different people, different sectors. That's the strength, not the same 20-25 people. Because sometimes I also take part in some of the groups, literary associations and all in city. Same faces I will be seeing every week, every month. But here in the programs organized by Tripathy ji, really every time new faces, new people, new people, which means he is reaching out to almost all the sections. So that's the thing. I have a strong appreciation and for Tripathy. In fact, in other meetings I have not told, but now I am tempted to say these things. Okay, and now I come to the point. This is the study, I understand this is Study India program. It is by this kind of programs, you are really having the cross-cultural understanding. As Tripathy rightly pointed out, I am basically an anthropologist. Anthropology means study of culture. You all know. And in the long teaching career, I have had the experience of not only teaching our country students, I have the experience of teaching the students from foreign countries. I myself have had the experience of going to countries, Europe, China, US, Middle East. So, and in addition to that, this type of similar kind of Study India program now, Pondicherry University is doing. Now there was some gap, a couple of years it was not functioning properly. Till 3 years also it was having very active program. It was a very active program. Hundreds of students come from different universities come to Pondicherry University. According to the nature of the courses, they stay here, and the students will be allocated to different departments. The courses are not just based on simply studies, books that they can do it anywhere from any place, but they come all the way from different countries, according to their interest. The Pondicherry University team, including me, is to take to different places. See, for example, some people would have been interested in temple architecture, then we take them to temples, different temples of South India. Some people will be interested in knowing the rural agriculture, rural social relations. We take the people to the actual situations, whatever it is. And with that practical experiences, then they submit the project, report, whatever it is, then we give the credit. That credit carries value. That credit they incorporate with the credits what they do in their parent universities. So such a kind of effective program, I think after a little gap, now it is getting rejuvenated, and I wish you all the best, this program to be very successful. Now, since I have retired from service for a couple of months before, I am also totally free. It is up to Sri Tripathy to make use of me for these similar kinds of programs, whatever manner he thinks, because he knows me very well. So it is up to him to make use of me, and I do not want to take much of the time. And I appreciate this culture exchange program, especially this is something related to the psychology. We are very good psychology experts in this part of the country in Pondicherry. As you all know, psychology is varied field, individual psychology, group psychology, parapsychology, so many things. And I do not know what exactly would be your interest. And I assure that here in Pondicherry, especially in this Pondicherry ashram ambience, you would have the practical knowledge of this thing, not simply reading, knowing, reading by book, reading by, that is a different thing. That is mere knowledge. Here, you get the knowledge along with the skill. That I can assure. Definitely you will be able to do it. If there is anything in future, I will tell. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity of interacting with you, Sri Tripathy. And also I am extremely happy to see the friends from different countries. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. When I was listening to you, I recalled one of my experience which was happened in 2004. I just completed my masters and I went to attend a conference at Bangalore, Swami Vivekananda Yoga Anusandhan Sansthan. When I entered to that university, there was a line, retired but not tired are also welcome. So it is your platform, sir. We have not given any opportunity, so since you have given your time to the university and now we can understand you are free, and we definitely request your presence and your support and guidance to do such initiatives. Thank you so much for your sharings. Murthyji, you want to say something? Murthyji is our colleague from Sri Aurobindo Society and an eminent writer also. And he has studied thoroughly Sri Aurobindo and the mother's writings and continuously his writings.
I hardly come from the field of psychology. I come from the field of finance. Just 2 years back I retired, but I have been a long time devotee of Sri Aurobindo, and I've been reading his works for about 20 years. Now I am a published author. I have 4 published books, and Madam, she talked about Mullah Nasruddin. So in fact my first book that was published was about Mullah Nasruddin, where I have interpreted 25 of his jokes, and I have written commentaries on those jokes, because those jokes are philosophical and metaphysical. So just based on what I have studied, I would just add my inputs to this. The higher explains the low, because you see, as far as Western psychology is concerned, whatever I have learned about it, it talks about the unconscious, it talks about the subconscious, it talks about the normal or rational mind, the ordinary level that we call it. But I would like to ask you, all of you are studying psychology, does the word superconscious feature anywhere in your syllabus? doesn't. That was what Madam was telling you about, that right side and left side. I hope you remember that slide. So imagine our human psychology in terms of a building. Now, Western psychology, Freud and his, and his colleagues, Jung later on he broke off from him, So they're talking about. Hello, yeah. So when they're talking about the unconscious and I think I can do without this. So when they're talking about the unconscious and the subconscious, it's like they're talking about the basement, the ground floor, and probably we are on the first floor or something, the normal waking mind that we're talking about. So we are dealing with the basement, the ground floor, first floor at most. But the building has a roof also. The building has upper terraces also. Western psychology peculiarly is silent about that. It doesn't talk about the higher levels of the mind. And when you are talking about the higher levels of the mind, Madam specified 5 specific levels. We start with the normal level. We are not going to unconscious and subconscious right now. We are talking with where we are standing right now. So when you go into yoga psychology, then there are 5 upper layers. She mentioned them. Higher mind, illumined mind, intuitive mind, overmind, and supermind. So that superconscious aspect that I talked about, that is about the supermind. Now I'll just give you examples, proof that these levels exist. How do you think, from where Shakespeare gets his ideas? Is it the normal rational mind? Is it that level from which Shakespeare writes his plays? Where does a philosopher, take a Western philosopher, Nietzsche, the well-known, Kant, their writings, don't you think those writings, those ideas, they come from a higher plane? Not the normal, rational, logical mind that we are dealing with all the time? So they are coming from the higher plane. We call it inspiration. We use such words, but it's very difficult to define such words. If I ask any of you, define concretely what is inspiration, you won't be able to say. Is there anyone who can say concretely what is inspiration? Okay, so those are lights that come from the higher planes. So there is proof, whether it's the works of Homer, whether it's the work of Dante, poets like Milton, in any field. You talk about music, you talk about poetry, you talk about literature, you talk about philosophy. In every field you will find all the great names. Authors, playwrights, musicians, poets, all the immortal works that exist, they are not the product of the rational logical mind. And we are living our entire lives on the level of the rational logical mind, and we think this is the be-all and end-all of it. So the proof I have already given you, that all these great works which survive, which become immortal over time, they are gifts that come from the higher plane. And that is what I am talking about. If your entire discipline is confined to the rational logical mind, probably the first floor of the building, and the subconscious, the ground floor, and the unconscious, the basement, then please keep in mind that there are upper floors and the roof also. Let's call the roof superconsciousness. Think about that, and if you are, and already in West also, I think this, this positive psychology and transpersonal psychology. Nowadays we are talking about transpersonal psychology. I don't know whether you people are aware of the name Ken Wilber. Ken Wilber, I would request all of you to explore his writings. He calls himself an integral thinker, and he's a great admirer of Sri Aurobindo, and he has come out with a model which is called the 4-quadrant model, and there he gives a prominent place to Sri Aurobindo. He is one of the leading thinkers in this field, in the field of integral psychology. And there has been Maslow, who said that psychology cannot be just the study of pathology, human pathology. It has to be, there ought to be a psychology of the super healthy minds. They also existed in this planet, and they were super healthy psychologically. So there ought to be a study of psychology for those kind of minds also. That was Maslow's contribution and all that. So those things are already there, but if you want to explore, then you have to come to the writings of Sri Aurobindo and explore this psychology of superconsciousness. And I'll sum it up with Sri Aurobindo's line. You cannot really, explain life and get the meaning and hang of it at this level. Sri Aurobindo says, in that case, your life will appear like a riddle and a paradox. You won't understand many things. So Sri Aurobindo says, our life is a paradox with God for key. So if you, God is the key, the higher dimension is the key. That would, like I said, I started by saying that the higher explains the lower. So once you are acquainted with the higher, the lower is explained. So please explore that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Murthy, for presenting the beautiful ideas. And anyone else wants to say something? You wants to say something? 2 minutes. Yeah, okay, please. Mr. Bharat will translate.
நம்ம எல்லாருமே ஒரு சின்னதாக ஒரு விளையாட்டு பண்ணலாம். இங்கே உட்கார்ந்த இடத்துலையே ஒரு கிளாப்ஸ் கொடுக்கணும். ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டைம் வந்து 1 கொடுத்துட்டு செகண்ட் டைம் 2 கொடுக்கணும். எல்லாருமே பண்ணுங்க. நம்ம எந்த இந்த 2 கைகளும் சேர்த்து என்ன சொல்லிச்சுன்னா கற்போம் கற்பிப்போம். அதை சொல்லிட்டே கட்டலாமே. ஓகே, இப்போ மனித உடல்களும் உலகமும் என்ற தலைப்புல தான் பேச போறேன். உடலும் உலகமும் நிலம், நீர், காற்று, ஆகாயம், நெருப்பு என்ற 5 பூதங்களால் ஆனவே 2க்கும் தொடர்பு உண்டு. அண்டத்தில் உள்ளதே பிண்டம், பிண்டத்தில் உள்ளதே அண்டம், அண்டமும் பிண்டமும் ஒன்றே. உடல் இயங்கும் முறை உலகம் இயங்குவதற்கு பெரும் தொடர்பு உண்டு. இதை சொல்ற ஒரு சட்டை மொழி. சொல்லுங்க.
Actually, what is saying, we have to learn many things and we have to teach also.
That should be our main motto. We should learn everything and we should teach everything to others. And he is telling whatever the nature contains, the Panchabhutam we say in Tamil, like 5 forces. That is all present in our body also. Whatever we see in the nature, it is present in our body. Many rishis and siddhas told that only. That's what he is telling.
தபரகம் என்று சொல்லக்கூடிய இதயம் சூரியனை போல இயங்குகிறது. மூளை சந்திரனை போல இயங்குகிறது. பித்தப்பை செவ்வாய் கிரகத்தை போல இயங்குகிறது. சிறுநீரகமும் பிறப்பு உறுப்புகளும் சுக்கரன் என்று சொல்லக்கூடிய வெள்ளி கிரகத்தை போன்று இயங்குகிறது. நுரையீரல் புதன் கிரகத்தை போல இயங்குகிறது. கல்லீரல் குரு என்று சொல்லக்கூடிய வியாழன் கிரகத்தை போல் இயங்குகிறது. மண்ணீரல் சனி கிரகத்தை போல் இயங்குகிறது.
Saying with all the planets around us now, apart from the earth, which is revolving around us, we can see the function of those planets in our body itself. Like sun means the power, the Agni, like what it is, fire in our eyes. Moon means the cool mind, like that. Everything we can see in our whole body is.
Okay.
Short term.
Okay.
That's all.
And thanks to Divya for initiating this discussion. Psychology as the science of consciousness, and after that a lot of inputs, suggestions we received. I just want to please allow me to say for 2 minutes. You see, the study of mind, I am not talking about the human mind. I'll tell you, recently I was interacting with one of my friends. He's basically a yoga teacher. So I asked him, what you do nowadays? I teach yoga. So I asked him, what are the great things you do? No, I teach yoga. I am a yoga professional. I told him, these animals have taught all these to human beings. All these yogic postures, especially the hatha yogic practices. I am not talking about the supramental kind of things. He was basically hatha yogic practices. I told him that these animals have taught all this to the human beings. They have not taught, but the human beings, they have in a clever way, they have learned all these things too. So the study of mind, especially when we talk about the human minds, is basically a fascinated subject. It is only the barrier which we have created, the Eastern mind, the Western psychology, the Eastern psychology like that. I would like to refer Sri Aurobindo's famous poem Savitri. He refers, there is the book of being's index page. The text and glossary of the Vedic truths are there. Nature's correspondence with the soul are written in the mystic heart of life. And when we talk about this integral psychology, Sri Aurobindo and the mother, they have very systematically and very clearly referred to the Indian scriptures. You see, nowadays we talk about the theoretical and practical aspects. In the traditional, in the ancient times also, this two terminology was used, shastram, which imparts the theoretical knowledge. Prayoga is the practical application of this. And my colleague Murtiji spoke about the superconscious things. The Vedic seers, they very clearly defines about the 4 states of your consciousness. That is the Jagrat, Swapna, Shushupti and Turiya. Turiya is the super consciousness which we talk about the supramental things. And if you refer to the Vedanta, and the Vedanta defines, there is a famous text called Vedanta Sara. The writer is Sadanand Dikshit. He very clearly mentions that Jagrat means the consciousness, Swapna, Shushupti and Turiya, they are not isolated from each other. They are interconnected. He mentions that you can find this Swapna, Susupti and Turiya in Jagrat, and you can also find the Jagrat, Susupti and Turiya also in the Swapna state. So it is interconnected. It basically refers to the Panchikaran Prakriya. So when we talk about this study of psychology or the occult sciences, many traditions particularly refer to the Tamil. My friend is basically a medical practitioner and a traditional Vaidya. And if you refer to the Tamil tradition also, recently we had a beautiful conference on the Siddhas. The 18 Mahasiddhas we started from Rishi Agastya's. They have written many mysterious scriptures, the Siddha traditions, the science study of the occult sciences, the minds, many things they have told. One thing our Honorable Tourism Minister, he mentioned, one Tamil saint, he has measured the weight of the soul. How difficult it is. So what Divya mentioned about referring the integral psychology, it is basically going within. But we can say out of 24 hours, in 23 hours and 59 minutes, we are completely, only seeing to the outer world. I'd like to refer one of the celebrated writers, her name was Helen Keller. She was a blind fellow and she has written an article, 3 days to see. In that article, she has written, if the God will give me the eyes to see for 3 days, she has explained the first day what I will see, on the second day what I will see, third day what I will see. If we grade those things, what we have observed this beautiful world since many decades or many years, our experience is something different. So the Shastras very clearly define Shriyat Pinde Tat Brahmande, means I am a universe in the universe. So particularly when we talk about the mother's message, mother mentions, the world is preparing for a big change. Will you help? And Sri Aurobindo also in his one of his 5 dreams, he mentioned that a new spirit of oneness will take hold of the human race. So particularly it is basically exploring the inner self, whether it is the Eastern psychology, whether the Western psychology. I can understand some differences and some diversities will be there, because if there is no diversity, how we will understand the unity? So the diversity must be there, but it is helpful to proceed in the path of sadhana. And the 4 Mahavakyas of the Vedas also defines. The first question which you ask to ourselves, who am I actually? The Shastra very clearly defines, Aham Brahmasmi, I am the part of the Brahman. Then what is the Brahman actually? Now that is the Pragyanam Brahman. Brahman is not someone else in different religions mentioned in different forms. The Vedas defines that pure knowledge is the Brahman. Pragyanam Brahmaiti. When I achieve the pure knowledge and I realize that I am the Supreme Soul, then who is Guru Murti Ji? I'll ask the question, Kastam, who are you? Then he will define Tattvamasi, thou art that, I am also part of the Brahman. When I realize that I am the part of the Supreme Soul, he is the part of the Supreme Soul, then what is the existence of all of us? The Shastra clearly defines that Sarvam Khalu Idam Brahma. The entire universe, whatever you see in the universe, that is part of the Brahman. So that is the message of the scriptures, what consciousness we have studied through the ages. And I can say it is only the limitations of our human mind, we have created our boundaries. So to complete, I just want to read one passage from Sri Aurobindo, which he has mentioned, a message to America. He writes that the ascent of the human soul to the Supreme Spirit is the soul's highest aim and necessity. For that is the supreme reality, but there can be too the descent of the spirit and the existence of the material world also give a meaning, a divine purpose to the creation, and solve it riddle. East and West could be reconciled in the pursuit of the highest and largest ideals. Spirit embrace matter, and matter find its own true reality and the hidden reality in all things in the spirit. I unquote. It was the message of Sri Aurobindo which he has given to the West particularly, and exchange of ideas. So in such a period when the world is transforming with the help of IT and all the knowledge systems, there is a necessity to live in a proper way, in a harmonious way. So it was a wonderful session with a small meeting, but I can say, sir, it is a beginning because we are much more involved to explore some of the areas related to culture, especially cross-cultural interactions, because I also worked with the government for 4 years in the cultural exchange programs. And the psychology thing, we have many things the society has already published, but we will take it off as a cross-cultural connections between communities and cultures. And many such programs will be organized in the near future. And we are very much thankful for the Charu will conclude the session. But before that, I would like to say that recently Sri Aurobindo Society signed the MOU with Pondicherry University. And also we have many such MOUs and initiatives with other universities and educational institutions. And also we work closely with Madam Bhuvana Vasudevanji's school. When you find some time, you can Google her, that the school's things, whatever is doing. So I thought in whatever little contribution we do to the mainstream, that will add something better. And our purpose is to live and just give a chance to others to live, to create a better world. That is the main consciousness what I believe. So this much I was trying to convey, and now I request Kishor Tripathy. She is the Associate Director from Aurobharati, Sri Aurobindo Society, looks after the programs and outreach activities. And but before we conclude this session, we would like to felicitate our guests, those who have come from dance. We'll do before or after that? It's a pleasure to know that Professor Chellaperimalji is now retired from the day-to-day monotonous life of the university system. So, sir, we welcome you from Sri Aurobindo Society for your dynamic guidance and support to take this forward. May I request Divya to kindly give a gift to Madam Bhuvana Vasudevanji.
You also be with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, please. We are one family.
What is her name? We have Maria with us, particularly devotee of Sri Aurobindo and the mother. And she is from Italy. And I request Divya to kindly give a gift to Maria. Also, I request Charu to kindly give a brilliant experts in psychology, and we have many programs we have planned in the near future. So, thanks for the beautiful presentation. May I request Charu to kindly give a formal photo thanks to all of you.
Good evening all. It was a wonderful session. Thank you, Divya. As all of you are aware, with a multidimensional focus on action research, Sri Aurobindo Society is setting up models, centers of excellence and training institutions that are sustainable, scalable and replicable. Under the project International Cultural Relations, we have initiated many programs to strengthen the cross-cultural relationships between India and other countries. We hope events like this will definitely add something innovative in the areas of research, publication, institutional networking and outreach programs. We look forward for collaborative activities between Sri Aurobindo Society, Pandit Deen Dayal University, Banaras University, Edith Cowan University and Pondicherry University. We pay our sincere thanks to Dr. Surendra Kumar Sain, Professor Department of Applied Psychology, Pondicherry University, for his support and guidance. As part of the MOU between Sri Aurobindo Society and Pondicherry University, many such initiatives will be organized. We are also thankful to Dr. Ritu Sharma, Dean School of Liberal Sciences, and Professor Nigam Dave, Director School of Liberal Studies and Dean International Relations, from Pandit Deen Dayal Energy University, for making Sri Aurobindo Society as a knowledge partner for this event. We look forward for collaboration. We are also thankful to Professor I, Associate Professor, Edith Cowan University, Australia, students and participants from Australia. It was a wonderful experience to have you all here. India and Australia have good relationship.
Programs like this will definitely strengthen the relationship between both the countries as well as to enhance the knowledge community. We are also thankful to the management of Sri Aurobindo Society, Sri Pradeep Narang Bhai, Chairman, Sri Aurobindo Society, and Sri Vijay Podar, Member Executive, Dr. Kishor Kumar Tripathy, Member Secretary, Aurobharati, Sri Aurobindo Society, for taking such initiatives to explore the spirit of Indian culture in the light of Sri Aurobindo and her mother. I am thankful for the insightful conversation and presentation by Divya, an expert and consultant in research and academics of Sri Aurobindo Society. Very soon we will announce the forthcoming programs related to psychology. We are also thankful for all of your presence. It was really a wonderful evening. After the tea break, all of us visit to Sri Aurobindo Ashram. Please join us. Now all are invited for tea. Thank you.
Kindly excuse.